Hi again from the BronyCon floor. This is Tech Rat.
And Joe Stevens.
From the Equestria Inquirer for Everfree Radio. And we are here right now with another very special guest. You know him as the voice of Snips, as well as the fan, well, not the fan voice, but the fan-named character of Stephen Magnet, and that is the wonderful Lee Tockar.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you very much. Lee, the first thing I want to ask you is, how exactly did you get involved in this specific show? Like, did you audition specifically for the part of, I'm going to call him Stephen Magnet because we don't really have another name for him. Did you audition for that part, or was there another part that you auditioned for? How did you get into it?
Originally, I had done Snips, and I was working opposite Richard Ian Cox. We both auditioned for, because most of the other cast had already been cast. So we both auditioned for Snips and Snails. Okay. And as it turns out, the choices that we made fit the character description so well that I was the fast-talking sort of guy, and here was this kind of guy.
Is that your audition? Did you try to do Snails as well?
I did do both, but I don't remember. But I think I did do something like this sort of thing. But Richard does that so well that they thought, and Richard is one of the funniest guys I know. So between the two of us, we landed these parts because all the other ones were cast, or these ones had come up. They said, there's this comedy duo, and we're going to have you guys together. And so it just sort of worked out like that. Now, after we got a couple of the episodes with Snips and Snails in, there had been this other character, the Sea Serpent character, and it was just called Sea Serpent. And
right.
Terry Klassen, the director, said, well, we're going to make him a little flamboyant.
Fabulous.
I think that was the word he used. We're going to make I don't know how to say this, Lee, but we kind of want to make him fabulous. So immediately I just thought, well, what's more fabulous than this voice? It's like if the Sea Serpent had a purse with a poodle in it that could survive the depths of the water. This would be the voice. So it's just because I had already been involved in the show, I got a chance to try out for Stephen Magnet, which was just Sea Serpent at that point.
Sea Serpent. And would you voice the little poodle in his purse as well? That's Stephen Magnet's fabulous poodle.
And that's what wonderful.
And so we have the fabulous, but again, as fabulous as he is.
This is going to be tough for me. I'm sorry. When you did the part for Stephen Magnet, were you in the recording studio with the other voice actresses?
We're always with Prelay. We're usually in, like, the difference, I guess you guys maybe know the difference between audio, ADR and Prelay. Audio dialogue replacement, blah. But yeah, we were always playing together with Prelay. So I was there with all the rest of them, and as soon as Stephen Magnet came, as soon as Sea Serpent came out, everybody was just like dying, and and I actually looked to Terry Klassen, and I'm like, are you sure that I can play him this fabulous? Because it's pretty fabulous.
Pretty fabulous.
Especially for a show of that nature.
Yeah, it is. But he said, well, I'm laughing. We're all laughing in here, so don't sell off the funny.
Was there a more fabulous take that did not make it to the final take?
No. I think the only way to make him more fabulous would be to make him German. Oh, mein mustache. Some little purple cloud came by and just snipped it off. That's more fabulous. And of Europeans are always slightly more fabulous.
And of course, his little purse would be filled with a schnauzer, right?
Yeah. Ach du liebe.
That is, of course, the fabulous German schnauzer in the German.
That's a classic German schnauzer. Yeah, I got a lot of calls for that in the voiceover world.
Well, speaking of calls for voiceover world, you are actually one of the, I guess, rare male talents in that room. What is it like being in a male voice and a male character in a predominantly female cast and originally, at least, female-oriented show?
I think it's really all about the talent you're surrounded with. Like the girls in that, they're just as good as the guys, and it doesn't really matter because I've worked with all these girls before, except the younger ones. I haven't worked with a lot of them, but
Crusader girls.
Yeah, and I was in a lot of the Barbie movies. I played Bibble, which sounded a lot like the Sea Serpent.
I know who Bibble is. That's the sad thing.
That's really what the Sea Serpent's dog would sound like is Bibble, because it was mainly predominantly a female cast, but that Bibble was just like, So, I've been working with predominantly female casts before. The dynamic is slightly different because when you're working with a bunch of guys, the testosterone level gets up. Like working with, I was Covert Agent Ravage, the last Decepticon on Beast Wars, and MODOK, and all these, and Iron Man. And so the testosterone level versus, it's the XY chromosomes. It just balances. It's slightly this way or slightly this way.
Do you prefer one recording environment over another?
No, I like them both as long as everybody's having fun and getting along, which we all do. It's all good. It's all really good.
Well, there was one recording and one character that you played. It might have been a little bit of a small part, and I don't think he actually says any words, but I am personally a huge fan of Ed, and Eddie.
I don't even remember. People ask me, and I know that they say, I don't think I was even on the show personally, but because I can't remember it,
Well,
I went
according to your IMDb page, I don't know if you checked it.
Fandom, what have you been saying about me?
Have you been lying about Lee?
If anybody wants to send in a request for or be more specific, get a clip, send it to these guys.
Yes, we'd love to see it.
They'll get to me, and then I'll get to you, and I'll tell you how come I don't believe you.
Well, the part that is a credit to you is Victor the Goat, Rolf's goat in the show. And do you recall at all being in the studio for that? No. That, of course, being a predominantly
Goat.
male, goat.
Yeah, related show.
goat
You would have gotten
related
the
show.
part if you had actually auditioned for it.
The camera. Are you laughing behind the camera? He's having to.
Everybody in this room is just on the floor at this
It's
point.
a good thing that there's only us in this room because I think that everyone else would be dying and falling over.
There's 16 people in the room. You can't see it behind the camera, but everybo's in diapers.
Yeah, they're all falling
because they're
over.
peeing. They've all strapped on diapers because
The stench in here is horrible.
It's just right. I'm not gonna touch that.
But that was another Vancouver show. A
Yes.
lot of the people who, including James Woody Wooten
Yeah.
and other members of the production staff, worked on that show. And we're seeing a lot of really talented, both production and voice, coming out of Vancouver. What makes Vancouver special? That it has all these amazing talented and has much better weather than Los Angeles, I would imagine.
Well, I'm going to say because I was part of a very small crew of people back in the day, and we taught all the others how to be particularly funny. No, I don't know. We're just very funny people. Everybody's like, we're just very funny and we're just very silly. We've gotten to know each other. It's a very insular crowd. It's very insular because it's a very core group. And so we all sort of grew up together in the industry, which was at its impetus and in Genesis in Vancouver. And it was only it was maybe 15 people. And now it's grown to 16 or 17. But anyway, there wasn't many people to begin with, and so we all grew up together, and we started learning because we all got the same shows, and we sort of learned how to play off of each other. So we got to hone each other's skills, and we steal from each other all the time.
And so you were talking about earlier that you worked with all of the voice actresses in the group. When you are doing now, your character, of course, is a filly, a young young
filly. I'm just a little filly.
That's Stephen Magnet when he was a child, I was.
So it's Snips. Oh, Snips if he was a belle, a southern belle. Yes, sitting on a porch with my mint julep.
And so when you're in that environment with
back there.
we're losing.
can hear
Elsie
you.
Moose, our director, is now officially probably having
I
to leave
think you're
the
going to
room.
have to leave the room, man. I think you're done. I
There's
think you're
water
done.
over there.
No. Stay. I love. I'm supposed to.
Yeah.
Tacky purple cloud. It was a tacky little purple cloud. That Snips is a southern belle. Tacky little purple cloud. I see it was up on top
If
of the
only
camera.
if only
We're-
Snips
we're-
did not have his cutie mark, then he could be the fourth Crusader. Wouldn't that be interesting?
You know,
Well, it's up to the writers. I think maybe with all of your
Take-
tweets and emails.
Take away his cutie mark.
I think at the very least now we're going to start to see fan art of Snips wearing a bonnet, if nothing else.
Ooh.
I'm fine with that. I'm good.
What's it like playing a child character on that when you're actually playing off of What you've got the other voice actresses.
I've done that quite a bit. I'm playing child stuff. I mean, I play Bling Bling Boy in Johnny Test. So
Oh, wonderful.
So it's basically it's like this Joan Cusack, but he's a young sort of. I don't even know how old he is. So I think he's like 14 or 13 or something, but he will destroy Pork Belly unless Susan Test goes on a date with him. So I'm totally used to doing high, squeaky sort of things, like from. What's
I think he's marking we've got 10 minutes.
We've got 10 minutes, people. Quickly, dial in. We need your phone calls. We've got to raise the money now. We've only got 10 minutes. It's for the children. The sick ones on their gurneys at home.
I hate to tell you this, but this is not live.
No.
Samu podcast.
Okay, that's good. It means we can do whatever we want and edit it out later, so it's okay.
If you edit anything, I will be so mad. This is comic gold.
Well, speaking of podcasts and speaking of all the various things that the community has been doing, and I know that you have taken sort of an interest in like some of the fan works and the music works as well. Yeah. And what's very interesting is that even though Stephen Magnet is such a minor character in the show,
he's a meme.
He is a meme, and not only is he a meme, but I also believe that a song has been written about him as well.
Yeah, I've heard the dance meme is just amazing, and it's getting a lot of play at the clubs and things.
Yeah.
And it's like, what a world! What a world! It's what a world! What a world! I mean, it's unbelievable.
Yeah. So what do you think about it? What do you think about the community works that they're creating for all this?
I think it's great, and I think it shows it's a form of expression. It's an avenue for artists and creators to come together and form bonds and to give back to the community and to have it to vent to get their creations out.
Mm-hmm. And it's wonderful that you have characters like that who was in the pilot and gets an awesome music beat. Does Bling Bling Boy have his own musical beat?
Not yet. Not yet.
He wants one.
I don't know.
Whichever one's
we did not
closest, go with
coordinate
one.
this at all.
Family apart.
Why don't you just hold mine?
No, that's fine. Okay. I like to gesticulate with my hands.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
What a world!
But Bling Bling Boy, you're a main character in the show, pretty much the principal antagonist.
Yeah.
And we see a lot of love and devotion to My Little Pony. What makes it special and different than things like Johnny Test or
George of the Jungle?
Or George of the
Because I
Jungle.
play George of the Jungle too, which is me, but just a little dumber.
And so what makes...
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
You're fine.
No.
What makes, in your opinion, the Brony community as opposed to the other fandoms that are out there for the shows that you're involved in?
Because the other cartoons are predominantly about the comedy or the action adventure, or it's about something other than what seems to be particulate to this particular show is its message or something, and I've been trying to put a finger on it. And in the documentary, which I guess is coming out, I tried to articulate it there too, and I likened it to, I don't know, this is going back a little bit, but Jimmy Stewart played Mr. Dowd in a show called Harvey. And it's Harvey because there's something about that great big rabbit, and
which is a wonderful movie about the person Harvey being an invisible bunny rabbit.
He's a puka. He's an 8-foot-tall puka, which is a mythical creature that appears here and there to this person and that.
And this person can see it, and no one else can.
And no one else can. And what I think the community here is, they look to the show as their 8-foot-tall rabbit that they associate with, and is magic to them, and no one else has to see it to believe what it is, but they find a kinship with it. And do you know what I mean?
It's wonderful sentiment. I think that, in fact, we've stepped on a really cool nickname for Bronies now. We already have a nickname, I guess.
Harveys.
We're Harveys. Which
we are 8-foot-tall invisible rabbits.
Well, you know what? I would be honored to be the one to coin that phrase, because it is by far one of my very, very favorite movies. Other than the book Don Quixote by Cervantes, and Harvey is right up there. And tilting at windmills, believing in something even when you think you're the only person that sees it or believes it. I'm getting choked up.
Well, let's hope that the Bronyism isn't quixotic.
Exactly. I'm between. That's the difference between hey, happy, and oh, it's kind of. Excuse me, I'm just going to be alone for a second.
Well, you seem to have a lot of enthusiasm for the show, and I know everyone else in this community, in this building, has a lot of enthusiasm. This might be a weird question because you actually work on the show, but are you personally, in fact, a Brony?
I would say that I am, because I have never found, well, I mean, it's not so much that I follow the show as much as they do. I can't quote every other actor's lines. I don't know what happened in this season or that season other than the general specs that I get as a performer to pay special attention, not to so much to the story, except in a general broad sense of the term, but to my character, to make sure my character is portrayed the best that it can and fits in with the rest of that universe. Bronyverse.
Ooh, the Bronyverse. We're coming up all sorts of vernaculars.
I know. Eh? Ponyverse works actually better.
Wonderful. And one of the things that makes the show special too is all the music and the songs.
Daniel Ingram.
And Daniel Ingram, wonderful person.
Yeah, he's a good friend of mine, and he's actually, because I'm doing something which is called Fan Built. It's a show about giving a platform to other shows and other things.
Tell us a bit about Fan Built real quick.
Well, Daniel agreed that he would do the theme music for it, didn't you, Daniel?
Daniel.
I think you're committed now.
You have to be committed. He did, though. He did say, and I'd be honored if he would do that. But Fan Built is basically about giving a platform for other fans' work to be shown, like the stuff that's, what is it, witchcraft is magic? Or
Friendship is witchcraft.
Friendship is witchcraft. I've heard little snippets about this and seen little things, and I'm going to be talking with them soon. There's a couple other things. Last week I was in Savannah, Georgia last week, and it was about as hot as it is here right now in New York City. But let me tell you, I met a fellow by the name of John Bailey Crumpton, who is now officially my new BFF. I don't know. We hit it off like a house on fire. And his wife was like, "Oh, you guys, come on." And but he's a very funny guy, and he is a Transformers fanatic. And he actually has a little puppet called Ravage the Insult Puppet or something like that.
Ravage
and
the
he
Insult.
goes around to conventions and he does this thing when he talks. It actually sounds more Greek than Russian. And you know what I mean. Anyway, so. He and some friends of his have put together this Transformers show. And it looks and feels and sounds, because he does all the voices and he gets some of us to do some of the voices on it. It looks like a fan-built
A full episode, yeah.
Full episode of Transformers. And so I want to give a platform with Fan Built to all the fans out there that build their own shows and have their own way of dedicating their craft through the conduit of each show that they love so much.
And so we can expect to see music, artistry, animation.
Well, it's going to be anybody that's as a writer, they can send in their scripts. This is going to be coming up in just about 2 months. We're still working on we've got the beta test almost finished, alpha test coming soon. Coming soon, Fan Built. So the writers can come in, and then voice actors, young voice actors around the world, they can come in and they can voice those things. They can submit it again as MP3s. I take those MP3s, I group them together, I post them, and then animation schools around the world, if you're listening, their graduating students don't usually have a lot of things to animate. So I want to say, how would you like to animate around some of the greatest voiceover people I know? And, and in the community, all the people from Vancouver, they've all promised, and LA, Toronto, New York, the whole gamut.
So it's basically, in summation, it's a place where artists, all caliber, and you can actually view the finished product afterwards.
Yes, they can. Then the people that create them repost to my website, and I don't own it. I just license it for a bit, and then we're following a finger, and then my lawyers and I have just we're in the final stages of acquiring the name Animation Idol. So
Animation
we're going to
Idol.
The best of those that are voted on are going to be pitted against each other. It'll be I'm imagining it'll be independent animators versus animation schools, and maybe even studios that say, "Hey, we've got some stuff we've been working on," and then they get pitted against each other, and its fans will vote. And anyway, I'm talking a lot about it. This is not what this is supposed to be, but I'm very
That's okay.
excited
This is
about it.
fascinating.
I'm very excited about it and to promote it. And the reason is everybody says, "Wow, I wish I thought of that," or "That's a good idea," and that makes me go, "Oh."
It's wonderful. We see a lot of the people involved in the production of My Little Pony also wanting to give back.
Yeah.
We as fans of the show want to give the people who create it so much because we love it so much. But I'm fascinated that the people who produce it not only want to make an awesome show for us, but want to give it back, give something back to it. And that's wonderful that you're able to do that.
I think it's part of that message within the community.
And so I guess we're running low on time here,
Yeah,
but
that's fine.
we don't want to take up too much of your time. But
I've just got to get back to the autograph signing
Yeah,
here
a
at the
lot of
convention,
people-
which I'm very excited and I want to thank the convention and thank you guys very
Thank
much.
you.
Thank the convention. I'm going to be sitting next to John Delancey, and when you're signing autographs next to him, his lineup is like forever, and I get the little things that it kind of makes you feel like you're the least pretty girl in the room, but that's okay. But he's wonderful.
But
I
you're
mean,
the
he's
most fabulous girl in the room.
Absolutely.
And is there one thing?
Tell that to my wife.
Of course, we love it. Is there one thing you want to say directly to the Bronies, real quick before we head out?
I want to thank you very much for having me. And even though I'm not a very big character in the lexicon of Bronydom or Ponydom, you've made me feel very at home and very special. And I really mean it when I say thank you so very much.
Well,
Maybe not one of the biggest characters, but definitely one of the most popular and loved characters on the show.
Oh, wow.
we do certainly
We'll
love
tell
Snips.
that to the writers and get him back.
We hope to see more of Snips in season 3. Thank you very much, Lee, for coming with us.
Thank you very much, and
Lee.
thank
This was
you.
This was a pleasure.
The pleasure was entirely mine.
And once again, Joe Stevens of the Equestrian Inquirer and Everfree Radio.
And Tech Rat.
Thank you very much.
And now, this is Stephen Magnet coming to you live from BronyCon in New York City. We're now with Stephen Magnet, who's coming to you from the Equestria Inquirer, #1 source for fake Brony news. And now, back to you, Stephen.
Thanks. When I'm not being fabulous, I listen to Equestria Inquirer. As a matter of fact, I listen to it when I'm being very fabulous.
Hi, this is Snips of Snips and Snails, and I'm listening to...
Oh, I'm watching. I'm watching, isn't it? Okay.
Hi, this is Snips from Snips and Snails from My Little Pony, and you're watching Equestrian Inquirer, #1 source for fake pony news.
Thank you so much.